My name is GIllian Smith and I am an Ambassador Girl Scout. I've been working on my Gold Award, a project that I've dedicated to promoting music education, and I'm so excited to walk you through the steps of the Junior Girl Scout Musicianship Badge. Step 1 is to explore how music is made. So, let's talk about 4 different instruments and their history. This time we'll be talking about violin, flute, ukulele, and boomwhackers. So make sure to take out a notebook and a pencil to follow along and make guesses about the answers before I reveal them. For every instrument that I go over, I'd like you to pause the video after I ask questions and write down what you think is the answer. Afterward, you should watch the YouTube video that I link in the description for each instrument. Then I'd like you to unpause the video and write down the answers next to your guesses. See how many you got right. First, let's talk about violins. I've played the violin for 11 years, and it's very likely that you, or someone you know, has or is playing the violin. Here are the questions. When did violins first appear? When were they popularized? And who created the first violin? Go take a listen and then come back for the answers. Believe it or not, original violins appeared in northern Italy in the early 16th century. The oldest existing violin was created by Andrea Amati, and it took modern shape in 1550. It was popularized in the 17th century as the composers began to write for the string family, such as cellos, violas, basses, and violins. Just like violins, flutes are a pretty common instrument to play. Similarly to violins, they use treble clef, but flutes are a woodwind while violins are a string instrument. For flutes, I have identical questions as violins. So, when did flutes appear? When were they popularized? And who created the first flute? Take a listen and then come back for the answers. So, there's 2 versions of the oldest flutes. Some were found in China in 900 BC, and the others were found in Germany. Theobald Bowen invented the modern flute, and they were popularized in the 16th century. Next, I'm going to talk about ukulele. It's a great beginner instrument for those who haven't played an instrument yet. So, I'd like you to answer the questions: when was the modern version invented, who introduced them to Hawaii, and when were they popularized? When you can, I'd like you to take a listen and then come back to hear the answers. The modern version of a ukulele was invented in 1879, and they were introduced to Hawaii by Portuguese settlers. They were popularized by Hawaiians and then shown to the mainland in the 1900s, where there was a huge boom. Next, let's talk about boomwhackers. This is a relatively new instrument, and you may not know what it is. For this time, I'd encourage you to watch the video first. When you're done watching the video, answer the questions: when were they invented, which company were they first sold under, and who created the first boomwhacker. So, they were first invented by a man named Craig Ramsell and his company Wacky Music in 1995. This is the instrument you'll be making today in our 4th step, and the one you'll be performing with on our 5th step. Next, let's travel around the world of music. So in this step, we'll be listening to different national anthems and comparing the sounds to each other. This includes the Star-Spangled Banner, Bolivia's national anthem, Switzerland's national anthem, and Japan's national anthem. I put links to these in the description of the video, and if you can, I'd like you to take a notebook and a pencil and write down the different things you hear. It might be a different instrument, or the tone, or the way they sound, the way the notes are sung, however you'd like to do the notes. Let's jump into the first one. I'm sure you've heard the Star-Spangled Banner many times, but I'd like you to listen again so that you can really hear the sounds. The anthem features brassy instruments and a strong lead singer or chorus, and strong percussion as well. These characteristics can help enforce a heartfelt and patriotic feel to the song. Now go listen to Switzerland's national anthem. Switzerland's national anthem features melodic lines and a chorus of singers. This is much different from the United States because they have many more lines of harmonies and melodies stacked up on top of each other. Many girls I did the musicianship badge with noted that it sounded like a church hymn. Next, listen to Japan's national anthem and come back when you're done. Japan's opening is very regal, and it utilizes a lot more woodwinds than the United States national anthem. But similarly to the Switzerland national anthem, it uses a chorus of voices. I also noticed that the Japan national anthem had a different balance than the other two, where the instruments were just as loud or louder than the voices at some points. Next on to Bolivia. I find that the Bolivia national anthem is very energetic and has a lot of brass like the United States. Overall, the sound and lyrics are very patriotic, and in my opinion, this is the closest sounding out of the three to the United States. Now, for step 3, exploring music in your life, we'll be watching an interview with the director of the Nazareth Theater Troupe. Hello, could you introduce yourself?
I am Sandy Jameson. I am an English teacher here at Nazareth High School, and I am the director of the NAHS Theater Troupe.
How did you become interested in music?
So I was a music kid when I was in high school. I was a band kid. I played the clarinet. I was a choir kid. I was a theater kid. I did all those things in high school. And I never really, obviously I didn't become a music teacher. I became an English teacher. So I find I'm very lucky to be able to sort of meld the two interests together now.
What is your job and how does it relate to music?
So my full-time job is I'm an English teacher, which doesn't relate to music in the slightest, other than that I have students in my classes that are music kids. But as the director of the theater troupe, we put on a musical every spring. And so even though I was not trained as a music teacher or anything like that, being the director of the show, obviously I have a lot to do with the music, but we have staff who work with us that are music teachers. So while I direct the show, I don't necessarily teach the music. I don't have the training for that. I know what sounds good. I know what we want to hear. I know what the music's supposed to be like, but I don't have the skills to train it. So while I direct the show, there are other people on staff that take care of all the things that we need.
What do you like about your job while being a director?
As being a director, yeah. I love the energy of it, the creativity of it. I really thrive in situations where I get to be creative, where I get to be really passionate and kind of throw myself into things. I think that really works for me. I love working with our cast and our crew. They're so funny, and they're so talented. So getting to, put in all that work and then see it pay off and to do it as like one big group, one big family is really, really rewarding.
What are some of the toughest things about your job?
It's a lot of time. We started this last show we did. We started in October, and then from December on, we were pretty much going full tilt. So it's basically 6 days a week after your full-time job. So you work all day, 8 to 3, and then you go to rehearsal for another 2 to 4 hours.
What was the most recent musical?
So we about 2.5 weeks ago finished our 2024 spring musical, which was Disney's The Little Mermaid.
What was the best part about the musical?
The best part about the musical was I thought this musical was a lot of fun. There were a lot of opportunities for us to do kind of a little extra stuff. So that was super fun. But when it came to the actual show, the energy that the audience brought to our show, Under the Sea, was just mind-blowingly good. Like, I think I will never forget the feeling, because we had jellyfish coming down from the ceiling and we had bubbles, and the cast that was on stage was just really like brought up a notch even further when the audience reacted. And the audience applauded for so long that the actors like just had to stand there like, what do we do? And so it was just electric. And it was super, super cool. Wish we could go back and bottle that up and experience it again.
And can you be involved in the production even if you don't have a musical background?
Oh yeah, a lot of our crew kids, especially, are not don't have any musical background or interest whatsoever. Some of them do, but for the most part, they're students who like to be crafty. They're students who like to build things. They're students who like to problem solve. Certainly having an interest in music, I think, is helpful, because you're going to be surrounded by it. But I don't think I don't think being particularly talented with music is super important. I was a theater kid, and I was in choir, I was in band, whatever, but I am not musically inclined very much at all. I'm not super talented. I did enough to get by. But I think, music and what we're doing here is for everybody. And if you want to be involved, you can be involved. And I had that type of experience in high school, and I think it's really important to bring that type of experience to other students. Even though Nazareth is much bigger than where I went, it's really important to me to say, yeah, come be with us, join us. If you want to be here, if you want to give it, if you're committed and interested and engaged, we want you here.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a nice day.
Thank you, GIllian.
In this next step, you'll make your own boomwhacker. Be sure to grab an adult so that they can watch you cut the boomwhackers. To make the boomwhackers, you'll need these materials, but I'll get into it more during the video. You'll also be cutting the boomwhackers to these lengths, so be sure to note these down before moving on. For this project, you'll need tape, a ruler, an X-Acto knife, a Sharpie, a cutting mat, and plastic pipes, which you can get from Lowe's or Home Depot. To start, take out the Sharpie, ruler, cutting mat, and plastic pipe. Measure and cut the pipes with the values that I listed before. When you use an X-Acto knife to cut, make sure an adult is cutting it or you have an adult supervising you while you're cutting it. Next, you should put tape over the edges in case they're too sharp while you're playing it. Then rinse and repeat all these steps until you have all three notes, which are C, D, and E. Then you're done and we can move on to our final step. Step 5 is to perform a song. I'll teach you to play hot cross buns and then you can perform it with your friends and family. Each boomwhacker plays a different note, so timing is crucial to playing the song correctly. When it's your turn to play, hit the boomwhacker against your opposite hand and it'll make the sound of that note. Just play the notes in this order, and this is how it's going to sound. Now you've successfully completed your Junior Musicianship Badge. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a nice day. Goodbye!